Attending a wedding is a joyful occasion that marks a fresh beginning for a couple embarking on their journey together. Today, my husband and I found ourselves at my sister-in-law's wedding. To be honest, I wasn't too keen on going, but I decided to join in the celebration regardless. As the reception unfolded and course after course was served, I found myself unexpectedly handed a child's meal. While others around me savored sophisticated English cuisine confused, I sought clarification from the staff. When my mother-in-law came over with a mischievous grin on her face, she asked, "Are you enjoying the wedding?" Her gaze lingered on me. Before I could reply, my husband chimed in. "Let me introduce myself. I'm Heather, freshly 28 and the proud owner of a unique clothing brand. My husband James is 3 years my senior. We tied the knot 4 years ago, having met at a department store. My brand's collections are featured in various boutiques and malls where James once worked as a security guard. Despite the majority of guards being older, James, then 31, caught my eye with his youthful vigor and lean muscular build. After we married, I discovered his past as a firefighter, a career cut short by an injury. Our paths crossed often as I visited the store to pitch my products, and eventually he invited me out for dinner. At the time, I was single, and what started as a dinner date blossomed into a relationship, leading us to marriage 1 year later. Life with James is filled with happiness, and arguments are rare. The challenge we face is our demanding careers, which leave us little time together. But I wouldn't change a thing. The only hiccup in our life together involves his family, particularly his older sister Helen, who's 33 and quite the handful. One day, when both James and I had managed to secure a day off together, we decided to make the most of it by going shopping, a rare treat given our busy schedules. I had been longing for a new pair of shoes, so the timing couldn't have been more perfect for a day off together with my husband. Balancing time off is tricky for me as the owner of my own business. It naturally falls on me to prioritize the business needs over personal time, which means my opportunities for days off are few and far between. This responsibility often extends my workday well into the early hours, causing me to miss seeing my husband before he heads out for work. But on this rare occasion when our schedules aligned for a date, an unexpected ring at our door at 8:00 a.m. disrupted our plans. Who could that be at this time? My husband mumbled as he went to answer the door amidst shouts of, "Hurry up and open up, it's your sister." He called out, and I joined him to see what was happening. There, standing at our doorstep, was my sister-in-law Helen, complete with a suitcase. "Helen, what are you doing here so early?" we both asked, utterly confused, with the utmost casualness. She announced, "I need to stay here for a bit." "Okay, wait, what do you mean?" We both asked, bewildered by her unexpected visit and request to stay without any prior notice. She explained nonchalantly that she was getting married soon, and our house was conveniently close to her wedding venue, making it easier for her venue inspections and dress fittings. "I just figured, since you two live around here," she trailed off as she made her way inside. I protested, but we finally have a day off together, and we were just about to head out. Her demeanor changed instantly. "Oh, you're going shopping? That sounds like fun." The excitement in her voice was evident, but my husband and I exchanged worried glances. "You're not thinking of joining us, are you?" I asked, trying to mask my disappointment. "Why not? Is there an issue with that?" she replied, her boldness leaving us speechless. Then, as if an afterthought, she added, "I need to check out some baby stuff. I want to make sure I'm prepared for everything," as she confidently took charge, suggesting we leave by 10:00 a.m. My husband's expression turned somber, a rare sight. It was clear he and Helen had a history of clashing dating back to their childhood squabbles. Attempting to salvage our day, I ventured, "Could you possibly leave us to enjoy our day off together?" Her response was a glare followed by a sharp, "What? You're trying to leave me out because I'm from a single-mother family, right?" "Yes, I am from a single-parent family, but what does that have to do with anything?" I replied, trying to keep the peace yet stand my ground. In the midst of our confrontation, Helen made a sweeping generalization about individuals from single-parent families, suggesting they were inherently judgmental and lacked empathy. Her words dripped with irony as she herself cast judgment from a high pedestal, embodying the very attitude she criticized. Helen, who was raised by both parents, clung to this unfounded stereotype, sparking my anger. "That's a prejudiced viewpoint. I am not like that, and even James is clearly upset by your comments," I countered, noticing my husband's discomfort. James's gaze hardened as he faced his sister, who challenged him. "What's the matter, James?" "Got something to say to your sister." His response was curt and decisive. "Yes, please leave." Helen's parting shot was a veiled warning aimed particularly at me, but I brushed it off with a calm "Thanks for the warning," and she stormed off. After she left, my husband and I tried to salvage the day with breakfast and a trip to the mall. Yet our attempt at a peaceful day was short-lived. We unexpectedly encountered Helen again. "Look who it is," she remarked upon seeing us, and soon our mother-in-law joined, further straining the atmosphere. The encounter quickly soured when our mother-in-law critiqued the shopping bag from Infinity Tread shoes that James was holding, mocking its lack of luxury compared to their high-end purchases. Their disdain was palpable, particularly aimed at me, insinuating that my influence was the root of James's misfortune. Frustrated by their superficial judgments, I couldn't help but ask, "Are you talking about me?" To which Helen smugly implied they were, without directly answering. The situation escalated until James stepped in, expressing his disappointment in their materialistic values. "Enough, Mom. Your constant flaunting of wealth is both embarrassing and annoying," he stated, visibly upset by their behavior and the unnecessary tension it caused. It was a rare moment of anger from him, highlighting the strain his family's attitudes put on us both. I had always admired James's authoritative tone, a trait likely honed during his time as a security guard, yet it seemed to have little impact on his family members. Amidst a confrontation, his mother and sister questioned his contentment with me, labeling me as uneducated and poor. They argued that education was key to success, citing their father's high-ranking position in a major company as proof, and expressed disbelief that James, a university graduate from a prestigious institution, chose to be with someone like me. It felt like they saw me as an outsider, pushing their narrative aggressively. Despite James's attempts to defend me, their lack of empathy was staggering, making me question their moral compass. Their interrogation didn't stop there. They mockingly inquired about my earnings, only to laugh off my response with a disdainful comment about it being a challenging amount for a dropout. James's interjections were swiftly silenced, with Helen mockingly wishing us good luck. Their insensitivity was blatant, showing no regard for our feelings as they carried on their one-sided conversation, insisting on our attendance at Helen's upcoming lavish wedding. Feeling pressured by my mother-in-law's expectation that we couldn't possibly miss the event, I reluctantly agreed to attend, motivated solely by my commitment to James. If not for him, I would have never considered going to such an extravagant celebration. When the wedding day arrived, we made an effort, completing our work early and picking out a new dress for the occasion. The wedding was indeed a grand affair, hosted in a luxury hotel with an opulent ballroom, extravagant decorations, and an enormous wedding cake that screamed excess. Upon our arrival, my mother-in-law greeted us with evident pride in the lavishness she had orchestrated, boasting about the $130,000 spent, the 700 guests invited, and the gourmet meal prepared by a top chef. Her boasting was met with mild acknowledgement from others, but it was clear she looked down on anyone outside her social sphere, a trait that only elicited polite smiles and nods from the bystanders. This display of extravagance and the family's attitude towards us highlighted a clear disconnect, revealing a superficial valuation of wealth and status over genuine relationships and empathy. Despite the external grandeur, the day underscored the emotional and ethical chasm between us and them. I couldn't help but feel stunned by her blatant display of wealth. Why didn't our wedding have such a grand budget? My husband questioned, pointing out the stark difference between our modest $40,000 wedding and the current lavish event. Our wedding, though simple, was intimate, attended only by close relatives and friends, and it was perfect for us. Yet the disparity in treatment couldn't be ignored, especially considering my husband is her own son. My dear, it's because Helen's fiancé Frank is set to play a significant role in the family business, especially once Dad becomes the president. It's only fitting we celebrate their union in grand style, my mother-in-law explained with a sense of pride, as if the extravagance was justified. During this exchange, my father-in-law approached, signaling it was time for Helen and Frank's grand entrance, suddenly ushering us to focus on the event. Yet his parting words to us were tinged with a superior tone, suggesting, "I should feel privileged to witness such opulence, unlikely to be seen again in my lifetime." His calm demeanor did little to mask the disdain in his voice. Reacting to his father's veiled insult, my husband couldn't stay silent. "Why speak so dismissively, Dad?" To which his father coldly retorted, "I've never hidden my disapproval of your marriage. You know the conditions I set." This was news to me, the revelation that his father had conditions for our marriage that were apparently not met by me. Amidst this tense conversation, my mother-in-law diverted everyone's attention to Helen, who was making a scene with her second dress change, drawing loud and unwanted attention. This diversion, while momentarily shifting the focus, couldn't disguise the underlying tensions. As we were left to digest the situation, my husband softly affirmed my worth. "Heather is far more remarkable than you realize, Dad," even as his father walked away. This whole experience laid bare the superficial values of his family, contrasting sharply with the genuine love and respect we shared. Despite the opulence surrounding us, it was clear that our simple but sincere beginnings were our real treasure, untouched by the disdainful judgments of those who valued material wealth over personal integrity. Knowing my husband stood by me was a profound source of comfort. His unwavering support buoyed my spirits, especially in moments like these, underscoring the depth of our bond. As the bride and groom made their grand entrance, the hall burst into applause, setting the stage for the evening's lavish dinner. My sister-in-law took the moment to highlight the evening's culinary delights, promising a special course crafted by a renowned chef. Yet a nearby altercation between my mother-in-law and one of the servers hinted at a brewing scheme meant to target me. The distribution of meals to the many guests naturally took some time, and when my dish finally arrived, it was with disbelief that I found a child's meal set before me. My query to the server met with evident discomfort, confirming my suspicion of an intentional prank. The server, previously seen conversing with my mother-in-law, admitted to the deliberate act under her instruction. My astonishment drew my husband's attention, equally puzzled by the unusual choice of meal designated for me. The situation, more humiliating than surprising, attracted the unwanted gaze of nearby guests, amplifying the discomfort. My mother-in-law's subsequent taunt, linking the demeaning act to my background in education, escalated the tension. Her words tested the limits of my patience. Despite my reservations about causing a scene at my sister-in-law's wedding, the realization that the instigator of this mockery was my mother-in-law herself diminished any obligation I felt to restrain my reaction. However, before I could respond, My husband intervened, his calm demeanor belying the anger in his voice. His rebuke of his mother's petty and immature actions reflected his disapproval of the disrespect shown not just to me, but to the decorum of the event itself. His stance in that moment underscored his integrity and the respect he held for our relationship, contrasting starkly with the childish antics orchestrated by his mother. I had never witnessed such a frosty demeanor from my husband before. His look was one of disdain, as though he viewed his opponent as less than worthy. His mother pretended not to understand the issue, but he pressed on, questioning the absurdity of serving an adult a child's meal, making it clear that such a choice was not one I would make. In response, my mother-in-law's face flushed with anger as she lashed out, criticizing my husband for marrying beneath their social standing and accusing him of abandoning their elite ways. Her words were steeped in the prejudice that affluence equates to superiority, a belief she seemed to champion zealously. I couldn't remain silent. Addressing her directly, I acknowledged my dropout status, attributing it to the loss of my parents before I could finish my education. Yet, I now held a position of significant responsibility as the president of a company. Her scoff at this revelation, dismissing the significance of my role, prompted me to reveal more, though reluctantly. Noting the pettiness of such discussions, I informed her that my business was a key supplier to solar burst innovations. The company her son was poised to lead, courtesy of its current president, Robert. Our company specialized in creating comfortable, wear-resistant clothing, initially focusing on T-shirts before expanding our innovative fabric technology across all garment types. It was our socks, however, provided monthly to Robert's company that stood as a testament to our successful partnership. Everything Robert wore was supplied by us, a professional relationship I had fostered directly. The revelation left my mother-in-law speechless, her arrogance deflated by the knowledge that I was not just a significant figure in my field, but also directly connected to someone she deemed important. The color drained from her face as she realized the implications of her actions, especially when I hinted at the potential impact on her husband's future within the company should I choose to speak to Robert about her disparaging remarks. I then posed a question, suddenly reminding her of Robert's own educational background, which mirrored mine more than her elitist expectations. Would she want me to relay her views on education directly to him, considering he himself hadn't completed high school? This not only highlighted the hypocrisy in her stance, but also the precariousness of her family's position should their prejudices come to light. When I calmly stated the potential repercussions of their actions, my mother-in-law's confidence shattered, imploring me not to follow through with my warning. It was a classic display of how quickly those who wield their power unjustly crumble when faced with a genuine threat to their status. My father-in-law, drawn by the escalating situation, received the same firm message from me. The possibility of advising Robert against his presidency struck a chord of panic, questioning their integrity and pride. As I stood resolute against their coercion, the commotion caught the attention of everyone around, halting the progression of our table. Amidst the unfolding drama, Helen, oblivious to the gravity of the situation, ventured to inquire about the commotion, seizing the moment. I informed her of my annual income and the stability of my business, addressing her previous dismissive interruption with a fact she couldn't ignore. Her reaction was palpable, a mixture of shock and disbelief rendering her momentarily speechless. The tables had turned. The in-laws, once towering figures of disdain, appeared deflated, their arrogance sucked away by the revelation of their misjudgments and the imminent consequences of their actions. My mother-in-law, in a dramatic shift of demeanor, resorted to kneeling and begging for forgiveness, a spectacle that begged the question of her pride. Yet the sincerity of their remorse was questionable. My refusal to immediately forgive was met with pleas of financial desperation, highlighting their precarious situation exacerbated by extravagant spending on the wedding. My father-in-law's admission of his financial imprudence, especially for the sake of the wedding, and the looming concerns over honeymoon funds and future stability, painted a picture of misplaced priorities and dependency on unearned wealth. Helen's reaction to her newfound predicament was telling. Her concerns were self-centered, mourning the loss of her privileged position rather than acknowledging the broader implications of her family's actions. Her indignation at the suggestion of her dependence on parental support for the honeymoon underscored the entitlement that had led to this moment of reckoning. The entire ordeal laid bare the in-laws' superficial values, contrasting starkly with the genuine merit and self-made success I represented. Their pleas for forgiveness, while dramatic, were a testament to the deep-seated issues of entitlement and the consequences of their unchecked prejudices. I pointed out that genuinely affluent individuals and famous people don't feel the need to boast about their wealth or status, implying that their excessive bragging only highlighted their lack of authenticity. You're all masquerading as something you're not. It's time to face reality, I told them. My words seemed to pierce deeply, leaving them visibly shaken, while my husband quietly expressed his admiration for my stance. Following this revelation, the wedding lost all semblance of joy, leaving us with unexpected free time as we departed the dismal scene of my sister-in-law's supposed celebration. Later, I had a candid conversation with Robert about the situation. He agreed that making Charles president under these circumstances would be inappropriate, considering the disrespect shown towards me. Robert humorously suggested a fantastic solution, a transfer for my father-in-law to a foreign branch. When my father-in-law heard of the proposed transfer to the United Kingdom, he was desperate for us to intervene, fearing the implications of such a move. However, Robert's decision stood firm, leading to my father-in-law's resignation from the company. Amidst this chaos, the fallout from these events was significant. The wedding fiasco and the loss of the expected position in the company caused my sister-in-law's fiancé, who had relocated from Switzerland to Canada for the wedding, to find himself entangled in unexpected drama. The culmination of these events led to the cancellation of their marriage, leaving my sister-in-law in a state of shock so severe it necessitated hospitalization. The domino effect of their actions didn't stop there. The combined stress of my father-in-law's career upheaval and my sister-in-law's emotional distress caused my mother-in-law to lose all her hair, aging her considerably. My husband remarked on the irony of how quickly the fortunes of those who once looked down on others had deteriorated. What they thought was a life of glittering diamonds turned out to be no more than a facade, crumbling under the weight of a single pivotal event. This situation served as a stark reminder of how life's trajectory can dramatically change based on our actions and decisions, for better or worse. This was a lesson learned in the hardest way by my in-laws, a testament to the unpredictable nature of fate. As for us, we've decided to use our savings to start building our dream home together. While my in-laws faced challenges, my business continued to thrive, increasing its profits significantly. In the midst of these developments, we received joyous news. I was expecting. With our financial security and our family growing, we probably appear quite fortunate, almost like celebrities from the perspective of my in-laws now. Yet, amidst this success and happiness, I've made a vow to myself and to our future. I'm determined to live a joyful life with my husband and our soon-to-arrive child, always remembering to stay humble and grounded no matter the prosperity or acclaim that comes our way. This commitment to humility and happiness regardless of our circumstances is a promise I intend to keep as we embark on this exciting new chapter of our lives together.